Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. With my wife and kids, we run an antique shop in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, filled with some of the most unique items we can find. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
I'm home, honey.
Hi guys, and welcome back. So on last week's episode, I went through and I got some carpeting put in. My friend Jason came over and helped with the headlights. On this week, I'm going to focus on getting the trunk recarpeted and refinished, and getting the gas drained out of the tank. It's kind of an overdue project. The gas in here is probably 10-15 years old, and I definitely don't want to see it work its way through the car. So I'm going to get my screwdriver and wrenches and stuff out. We're going to pull the plate off the interior here and see if we can siphon some gas out. Now, the gas tank in this car actually sets in through the tank. You can see all the bolts around here. It would lift right out. I don't know if I'm going to have to take the whole tank out or not. What I'm going to do is pull this access plate off, which should be where the fuel sender unit is. With that removed, I'll be able to have a good view of the inside of the tank. These screws that are on here are really stuck. Like they've been on there a long time. So I've been having to use vice grips to get on the end of the head. Get it on there really good, and then I can tighten and take it off. I've got two off already. I'm gonna do the last one off, and then we'll be able to pull that plate and see what's underneath. Underneath the plate, we see the fuel sender unit. This is what it has, basically a leveling device, tells you how much gas is in your car. There's gonna be a seal in here. I'm not gonna pull this out until after I've cleaned all this debris up. We don't want any of that falling inside the tank, and that's exactly what's gonna happen when I go to take this out. So we're gonna kind of get all this loose debris out of there, vacuum it up, and then I'll attempt to pull it out. Okay, I've got it all cleaned up. I've got the screws loose, and this is where I hope I'm not gonna have a big barnacle stuck to the other side. Okay. Well, so far it doesn't look too bad. That's not all crusted over. If I can get this out. Actually, that's really clean. Hang on, I'm gonna get the light on. Wow, did I ever luck out? That gas tank is perfectly clean. There's not a speck of rust in there. And it's empty, which is good too. Okay. Well, that is excellent news. I don't need a new gas tank. That's a huge plus. Alright, well, for the next, see if I can climb in here. The next day or two, I'm going to be living inside of the trunk. Not literally, but I am going to be spending a bit of time in here as I do the carpeting. I've got to take the screws off those panels and pull out any of the old kind of gross carpet, because I've got fresh new stuff to go in. Get this piece out. There we go. It's going to be going into the discard pile. And once all the carpet's out of here, then I can really start to vacuum and clean and get ready for installing the new stuff. There's a lot of, sort of old, like that, old underlay and stuff that's stuck there. And that's not rust, that's glue, for those of you at home watching. You can see the paint underneath is fine. That's just brown glue that's over top. But we're gonna vacuum this all up and clean it up. And I'll try and do my fitting for the new carpets. Also, right now this car is rust-free, which is a miracle, and I'm trying to keep it that way. I took the battery out and moved it out of the way, and I'm putting an extra coat of rust-preventative paint underneath it, because that's usually a spot where they start to get corrosion. So we're gonna let that dry before I put any kind of carpet in, but just one extra step in the potential areas where it might get rust, just to keep it a little bit safer. Test fitting the corners first. These pieces have to go in before you can lay down the main part of the carpeting. I've got to do that side, and I've got to do that side. After those are done, I can put the back on. Well, actually, I should probably get the lower mat in and then the back on. Sort of in order you have to do these things, but these are not specifically cut for this vehicle. They're sort of generic, and then you have to make them work. So I'm having to take off little bits and pieces here and there just to make sure that they go in right. If you've never done this before, maybe have somebody who's an upholsterer do it for you, because if you cut the wrong piece off, you're kind of gonna be in a situation. But that looks like it's about right where it is. Now I can start to get the glue on and then get it fixed. The glue is pretty much dry on the fender well, and it's pretty well dry on the back of the carpeting. I'm gonna let that side set up a couple minutes, and then we're gonna push them in place, basically starting at the edge and then working my way over to kind of smooth out any wrinkles. Now for test fitting the trunk carpeting, took the battery out, and we're gonna refit that. This little hole has to go right there. That's to lower your spare tire down. All in all, pretty good. I have to go pick up some vinyl to redo the edge all along here, and then I can carpet it in the back there. I've also got to repair the kick panels on the lower portion on the right-hand side and in the trunk. My board is completely rotted, so I've come to Home Depot to get some replacements. These are about $5 a piece. Hardboard should do the trick. Next up, I stopped at a fabric shop to get some black vinyl because it's a little bit of trim piece in the trunk that needs it. And I thought I'd be funny, so I said, "Are all sales vinyl?" And I think they thought I said final, but anyway. The ha-has weren't on me this morning. It's too early maybe. But I'm gonna keep looking for the vinyl and see if I can find something that's gonna work in the car. Probably, I guess you really have to look for what type of grain you want. Some looks a little bit more leathery, some's more of a fine grain. $30 a meter, $45 a meter. Well, considering I only need it in one little spot in the trunk, that should probably do. It's gonna be arts and crafts time pretty soon. The goal right now is to take this black vinyl that I bought, scrape off all the old gray stuff that was inside the trunk and redo it, because I've gone from a light gray carpeting, which is what this car had originally, would have shown dirt really bad, to a black carpet that I think kind of offsets the dash panels and just the overall look of the car. I'm going to get measuring so that I get the right size cut and start getting that all prepped and ready to place in. So just a little sprinkle of magic and we should be good to go. That is the spot in question. Runs all along there. You can see where the glue was. I've got all the old vinyl off, and it kind of just wraps down and around a little bit. I've got wrenches out because I've got to take that piece off right there, the latch, so I can lay this in proper. Kind of just laid this carpet in to give it a test, but I'm gonna peel that back, get it out of the way, and get my measuring tape out. This will also give me a chance to clean up this chrome, which has been painted over either by my shop or by someone else. So we're gonna get the rest of that cleaned out, get that all buffed up, and the fun begins. Update. First off, it's dark out. I've been out here for a while. It's almost 10 o'clock at night, but I was able to get my vinyl all upholstered along the top as per original. I got the paint off little chrome piece there. There's a few little bits like that jacking point cover which need a little fresh coat of paint. I'll do that later on. But look how nice it's starting to look back here. My trunk is really shaping up. I still have to do that panel on that side and the one over here. I'm kind of roughing it in right now. But the trunk is like 90%, nah, let's say 80% done. Let's go with 80%, but look how deluxe it's looking in here. Pretty proud of that. This car is really making me feel happy. Every little thing I get done feels like one step in the right direction. This next bit is going to be a little bit tricky because the carpet kit didn't come with the cardboard backing or the board backing. We're going to have to custom make some on our own. But I'm prepared for this because I bought board the other day. So let's tear into it and see if we can make this fit. Okay, next up, I've got these gross, disgusting old panels off the inside of the trunk. These are the last pieces that I basically need to fabricate before the trunk can go back together. I'm going to do a template. I've taken the piece, and this is where the battery goes. Now, the new piece of carpeting will be a little bit different because it has a pocket sewn on for the battery rather than this one that was detachable. But I will need to probably drill these little holes here for these quick screws or figure out a way to attach it. Either way, I've more or less figured out where those lines would have been. Now I'm going to trace it out. Okay, after some cutting, I've got these weird looking sort of cookies that will be covered in carpeting, but I have to test fit them in the trunk and make sure that I've got the right shape before I do that, because once you got the carpet on, it's a lot more difficult to try and fix it than it is right now. So let's check it out, see if it looks good. Now to bow or Luke Duke my way inside the trunk. I feel like the Duke's a hazard, except Bo and Luke Duke didn't usually jump inside of the trunk of their car, but that's what I'm doing as I test fit these panels. Let's see, I'm gonna flip this around so you can see what I'm up to. This piece is meant to go right around here. That's the carpet for it. That will eventually go on something like that. But don't need to worry about that just yet. So I have to cut this to shape. What's it stuck on? It looks like a big elephant or something. Okay, it's not a bad fit, but it is a little bit high right in that area, so I might have to shave a little off the bottom. And this curve, I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna have to bring that down a bit. I didn't cut that quite right, but that's okay. I think the other stuff was a little bit more bendy than this is gonna be, but I can adjust for that. But that'll go there, all covered in carpet. The hole looks about right, and there's a piece of carpet that goes over top there. So a little bit of trimming, that's why we check. And the side by the battery fits pretty good. A little bit snug at the top part there. Not too bad. And again, I'll have to trim this back a little bit to make it fit properly. But all in all, for a first pass, that's not too bad. It's better to have to take away material than to add. So I'll remark that, take it outside and trim it, and test fit again. Okay, that's pretty much as good of a fit as I'm gonna get. Nice and snug along the wheel well, good amount of distance along the base, but that side is just about done. And over here on the battery side, same thing. The fit is pretty well as good as it's gonna be, pretty much just like the original. Have to drill a hole here, but then carpet time will be coming along very soon. And then we'll get the cover made for the battery, and this trunk will be just about wrapped up. Also test fitting the passenger side kick panel. I traced out exactly what they did, and as it turns out, the last person made a mistake because they notched out the bottom for no apparent reason. They must have flipped it over and been like, oh no, it goes up there. So that's okay, I'll cover it in carpet. I guess that's factory, because that's what it was, but I replicated somebody else's, whoops. That's all right. Before I get the carpeting glued on, I have to adhere the little leather trim piece here. It goes on the front edge, the leading edge. I'm gonna let that glue dry up, put that together, and then after that's done, I can put some carpet on and fit it. Now my new custom-made kick panel is in place, just where it should be on the lower part of the car, and that looks just about good. A little bit of vacuuming, and that's all wrapped up. Everything is all trimmed and in place. Nice and tidy finishes. The upholstery went on nice and smooth all along here. But have to do a little bit of vacuuming. But that is looking pretty darn good. I'll probably end up having to do a little cleaning on those bolts, but really, other than that, this trunk is just about good as new. So that's it, the trunk is finished. The carpeting is done on the interior of the car. Next step is going to be getting the taillights mounted on, getting the rear bumper attached to the car, and then I get to start on the mechanical. So stay tuned for more episodes. We're really starting to make some good progress now. It's only going to get better. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.